Namaste.
Namaste.
I'm Hema Hari and this is D.K.Hari. We are from Bharatyan,
Chennai.
And we've come for this Tithi Shastrarth being conducted by Dr.D.K.Hari Dream Trust and put together by Ms. Meera Mishra. And this whole need for the Shastrarth has arisen to prove that Mahabharata was historical event. It's an itihasa of this land.
Aitihasik.
In which case you should be able to give the date for the events of the Mahabharata, Sri Krishna. Now, these dates are available in our Indian calendar and in Indian terminology, Indian astronomical terminology. But for the world to accept it, they need to understand it in as per the Western calendars, and that is the whole place where there is a debate right now, because how do you map it from the traditional Indian methods of describing time into Western methods of describing time, which is the current Gregorian calendar that we follow. So this, and therefore different scholars have worked over more than 100 years and they've been trying to do this exercise. Ever since we've been colonized, there have been people who have been trying to bring this to a way in which world can understand Bharat and respect its antiquity and historicity. And in that course, different people have come up with various dates as per the Gregorian calendar. So this Shastrartha, Tithi Shastrartha has become necessary so that we can ratify, because now when different people are giving different dates, that casts a doubt on the historicity of the events itself. So people start doubting about Mahabharata, even Indians. So then you need to come up with a standard date which can then go into the books of history, because today bringing it into the books of history is also a challenge as to which date will you say, which time period will you say. So therefore this has become a necessity, and it's beautiful that Draupadi Dream Trust, we've all been working, for instance, we have been working on this for the last 25 years, both in the sphere of Ramayana as well as in the sphere of Mahabharata.
That is historical Krishna, to prove that Krishna is historical, and thereon the events of Mahabharata is historical. Similarly, historical Rama, and also to prove Ramayana is historical. The historicity of what you call ancient Bharat is what we have been trying to. The timeline for it is what we have been working on for the last 25 years in Bharat Gyan, Chennai.
And Ms. Meera Mishra has been able to bring a lot of such scholars around, and this meeting had people from who have been working on civilization studies like us, people who are working focused from an astronomy perspective, literature, Sanskrit scholars, archaeologists and astrologers. So various people who have been working and focusing on identifying the dates for the Mahabharata. She got all of us together, and it was beautiful that we could all sit together and discuss with a very open mind. And on day one we had more discussions focused from an archaeoastronomy perspective. And the dates, if you look at it, they can be grouped into two categories. One set of dates which come around 3100 years.
BCE.
BCE, yes, that is about 5100 years ago.
Before present.
And the other set of dates which hover around 1500, 1100, 1700 BCE. And so which of these is the period, and then which is the date is the question. And yesterday's session and day one session, we saw that there were a lot more evidences which were pointing towards 3100 BCE range, because fundamentally Kali Yuga can be fixed around that period. And there is also a difference in Mahabharata when you talk about it. There is a overall understanding in India that the day Sri Krishna departed from earth is the day Kali Yuga started. started, whereas in the Mahabharata you can actually see that even during Krishna's lifetimes, Sri Krishna himself says Kali has set in, Kali has set in. So it was beautiful that we could conclude yesterday that we have to separate these two. One, effect of Kali, that is one. The other is Kali Yuga as an astronomical event which can be dated. And so we did arrive at a common date for the Kali Yuga astronomical event, and from there on we now have to fix the actual dates of the war, but that is the second step. So long as even if we arrive at the fact that this is an event that happened 5,100 years ago, that is a very big step towards going towards establishing the historicity.
So the Kali Yuga is an astronomical event, so it happens in the sky. The events of Mahabharata are historical events that happen on the ground. So it's a question of sort of they overlap, and so the mapping of them is a task that's on hand. So it's through such Tithi Shastrarth that we've been able to map them well in the modern Gregorian calendar that all of us use.
And this day too has been lot about the archaeological excavations, and we saw how they have come. They have also identified many artifacts, some which go 5000 BC and so on. But towards Mahabharata, the areas of Mahabharata, they do find artifacts which are at least 2800 BCE. And but then again, in archaeology, they themselves accept that they will have to kind of do a planned strategic effort which takes the text and looks for those specific. Now what they're doing is they're finding evidences, artifacts like painted graveware, which establishes that there was a civilization. But how do you really map it with the Mahabharata text and say conclusively that this is an artifact from the Mahabharata period and relating to the Mahabharata event? So to find that, they need lot more conclusive information, pointers from the text and otherwise, which they can then follow and try to do a much larger planned strategy. So that was the kind of conclusion that was coming, because there is still a difference to be reconciled between archaeology and the literary and astronomical data.
The last 2 decades have been quite fruitful in the field of archaeoastronomy. While the field is actually 100 plus years old, the last 2 decades have been quite fruitful, with a lot of people coming up and finding out the dates through the method of archaeoastronomy for Mahabharata, and also many converging to one common date. That's been commendable. Now the next decade has got to be for archaeology to step in equally and sort of bridge this archaeoastronomy, literature and archaeology gap, so that they all merge to one date. So that will be the next challenge for in this coming decade to come, and I'm sure by the end of this decade we should be able to do that too, because we are moving there well and we're moving there fast too.
And they are also coming forward with a nice open mind. So that is a beautiful synergy that we saw in this 2-day conference. And we'd love to thank Ms. Neera Mishra and Dr.D.K.Hari Trust for organizing this. Thank you.
Namaste.